Hello, my name is Frances Fox, and maybe one day I will be your favorite psychic spy. In a few minutes, I'm going to tell you under gossip, I'm going to tell you a little story about being a psychic spy and people wanting to hire me. Treacherous world. Anyway, I'm also trained in interspecies communication. My training was very severe in all of the psychic abilities. I'm not an astrologer, but that's not a psychic ability. Even though I do horoscopes, and you should listen to my horoscopes this week. They're kind of interesting. Anyway, so here we are with news from other dimensions. And I was thinking, I'm really lucky that my reputation has been so beaten up. I have so many people that have trashed me, so many people that thought I was crazy or knew I was right, but didn't want that information to come out. That basically, when I have to deliver information that I know it's not what people want from me, but it's what is, I sigh and I go, okay, so it's not going to be, I'm not going to be everybody's favorite psychic spy yet, even though I could be your favorite psychic spy and not your favorite person, I guess. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start with the map of the United States. And if you are wondering why I have the image up on screen, it's because if you don't take into consideration what's going on in the other dimensions, you miss the point. You never knew. You couldn't be part of the decision making process. You probably don't know why your kids get sick. You don't know that you choose when you're going to die. You don't know that you get the government that you deserve. And if you don't like it, it's because you weren't paying attention. And with what they're doing that you don't like, you go, oh, I get it. I wasn't even aware I hated it that much. So let's go ahead and look at the map. And I did get it up on screen. I did get it up on my computer. Excuse me. Here we go. And I will explain it to you to the best of my ability, but also trying to get you to understand concepts that you're not even aware of because your world is limited mainly to the physical dimension. But I am not here to make you happy. I'm here to give you extra information and to coax you and encouraging you to widen your lens, which you can apply to your business. And you should. Um, and you can apply to all areas of your life because all areas of your life, everything is multidimensional because this is a multidimensional planet. So here we go. The map of the United States today. Why am I not drawing the map of the world? Well, when I made that decision, it simply was I can't cover everything. It's not, this is where I live, this is where I'm going to do it. Okay, let's go into it. Canada has a frequency of fire, not good. But every time we sketch Canada, the situation seems to be getting worse. The blue wavy lines are the frequency of the United States. Excellent. The Merkaba in the center, the two triangles, one on top of the other, is smaller than I would have liked it. I don't see two of them, but we still have the galactic protection, which is what that is. In the center of it, we have a heart. Half is black and half is red. Oh, look, my face. You're only seeing half of it. Interesting. And that's basically where we're at. A lot of people are very depressed about what's going on, and other people just simply, whatever, it's pink. Half is black and half is pink, which I guess is good. Interesting what's going on in the Gulf of America. We have our pyramids coming up, but then they got a base that is brown, not black, which means rooting and grounding. Now, look, do you know what? You should know what the crop circles are, but maybe you don't, and that's okay. But let's get this other thing. I don't even know what this is, so I'm going to ditch it. So I will be right now able to show you something and connect the dots between several dimensions. Ah, give me a second. Yeah. Hmm. We got it. So, do you know what a crop circle is? I think they're mainly in England. And overnight, in the fields of grain, there is a design that is not possible to do overnight. And scientists have been studying it, and they want to think it's young kids, but young kids can't do that. And they certainly can't do it overnight. They're called crop circles. The latest one, okay, so look at the base of the pyramids. Okay, that's grounding, rooting. Now, let me show you the crop circle. I don't know how many things I can get up here at one time. There's the crop circle. Okay, so what's that got to do with that? What direction would this spin in if you started to move it? It would spin the opposite direction of a clock, which is counterclockwise, which is rooting and grounding. And what do we have here but a rooting and a grounding of the pyramids that are in the Gulf of America? Exactly the same day. I can't make it up. A lot of astrologers use that phrase. They'll say something intuitive, and then the next card they pull out is exactly what they just said, but I don't know why they're so surprised. Oh, I just did it, so I'm surprised too. The link is so incredible. So you have, and now I'll tell you a little gossip about that. The pyramids that are coming up, which means that the veils between dimensions are diminishing. They're coming up in the Gulf of America, which is great for the United States. Today, for the first time, I sketched that brown there, and then today we have this crop circle. Okay, what's the point? The point is that something that's rooted and grounded means it's spinning in the opposite direction of the clock, and then you get to the swastika. The swastika is a symbol from over 5,000 years ago. The Tibetans use it through the centuries, the indigenous, the Hopi, everybody. And then the Nazis. The Second World War was the first modern war fought with metaphysics. They didn't allow that to come out in the Nuremberg trials. No, 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 no. We gotta keep the public dumbed down. The swastika. So this is the swastika going in the direction of grounding and rooting. And we have that again in the Gulf of America, Mexico. So this is really good. This is a lot of stability in the southern part. And then we have a pink circle around Florida. Well, Florida is where Trump's home is. This is helpful friends section of the Bagua, which is the relationship between your home, let me get that out, gone too, and your destiny. So helpful friends. So that's going to help in the negotiations for this war going on. My little gossip. The swastika, when I built a 3-story building, I remodeled a 3-story building and built a store there. 1989 was when we opened it. I had the workers put a swastika going counterclockwise. I had them, they had little flowers around them. It's an ancient symbol. It's not a Nazi symbol, but they knew how to use it. And I had them put it in 2 or 3 places under the rugs in order to ground the employees, like at the front desk. And I don't remember, I think there were 2 places that I had it. When I sold the building, one day I thought, oh my God, when they take up those rugs, they're going to say that I'm a Nazi. Oh, they're saying everything else anyway. So years later, I was having lunch on the way back from the Florida Keys, and I was sitting across from somebody that obviously disliked me a lot. It was a whole group of friends, not really my friends, my children's friends. And the guy from across the table says to me, they say, that in the city of Coral Gables, they say you're a Nazi. And I looked at him and I went, okay. Where's that coming from? I don't know, but they say you're a Nazi. Okay. It took me, I think, a week before I realized it was the thing underneath the rug. So I called his wife. I told her I have no idea where that ended up. But that can be the basis for war. It could be the basis for part of trashing my reputation, but also that misunderstanding, that cultural misunderstanding can put us at war. So interesting. Um, Obviously, we're in a bad place. Obviously, my maps do not seem to take into consideration the fact that we're in such a bad place. I have to sketch what it is that I get. That's my training. I'm not looking for anything but to share information, and I will be hired and I will be earning a lot of money because of this that I'm doing, because I have to tell you, the most powerful people on the planet know about the other dimensions. You don't. It's okay. That's why you're here. So I'm getting ready. I'm a little discombobulated. I had a very interesting business meeting, but it was tough. I really don't want to be doing that. I need a business manager, an agent, something. It can't be an agent. I have no idea because it's just exhausting. It's not where I'm at. But anyway, so if I look a little bit disheveled or whatever, that's it. So I'm trying to communicate with the dolphins to get a message to give you about this war, not war, whatever, why Trump bombed, whatever. The dolphins are going. And I finally said, listen, I'm not posting this. And they said, we hear you. Take a rest. No one trusts anyone anyway. Okay, so then I went back and I asked the question, because you all know how I feel about Trump. Could Trump not have invaded dolphins? Tell me. The dolphins are the ultimate wisdom in my world. And my followers and me have been watching what the dolphins say. Me for decades, my followers for 7 years, and they're accurate. Now, the future is elastic and plastic. You have to take that into consideration. That's not their fault, but I don't usually ask about future. Anyway, so I went back to the dolphins and I said, could Trump not have invaded? I put the word invaded. That's so have dropped those bombs is what I should. And their answer, which I'm going to put. Interesting that I put the word invaded. Okay, that there's an explanation there, but okay, so here is their response. Okay. Could Trump not have bombed the nuclear facilities? And the Dolphins responded, no. He had to hold back the nuclear, knowing that Earth is so weak that any nuclear explosion would send the planet spinning. And then I got pissed and I said to them, why didn't you just say that first? Why didn't the Dolphins say that when I started to prod them for some information about why Trump, after promising no war, would drop bombs? The masters are not allowed to give us the most important information. We are supposed to find it ourselves. This is what the Dolphins responded when I said, should Trump not have invaded? But I meant to say, should Trump not have dropped the bombs? The masters cannot tell us this information. I can. Years ago, the Dolphins, I don't remember what conversation we were having, and they said that the biggest worry about planet Earth was that we explode nuclear bombs and that the planet be sent spinning into outer space. That's not good. Yeah, but the worst part, according to the Dolphins, is that once our planet ends up spinning in outer space, it gets pulled out of the reincarnational cycle, whatever plans there were for planet Earth, whatever program, whatever. And the souls that are on the planet are totally lost. You're not supposed to lose souls. You can lose physical bodies, you can go through living hell, but you're not supposed to lose souls. You can't have that. They said that years ago, probably 10, 15 years ago. And they said, don't share that information. They said, but that's the biggest danger planet Earth has. Nuclear explosions that would set the planet spinning and it would be pulled out of its position and those souls would be lost. Thank God that planet Earth is dividing into two so that whoever, whatever will end up, I'm assuming. What's the issue here? Obviously, in my opinion, okay, he knew that Iraq, who did we bomb? Iran had these, and that it was possible, and then the whole game would be over. The game is over. It's over. So I got my answer, and I understood. And we are totally in end times. We're right there. We're there. If you think that you have the time, but the stuff that they said was going to happen is happening. The dolphin said something about that. I'll read that and then. Okay. I started by saying, what do we need to know? And they answered. This was before I got pissed and they talked about what. The ending was predicted. It's happening on schedule. Most do not understand what's going on, which is a realignment of light and dark forces behind the scenes and also in the other dimensions. And then they wrote about some other stuff that you're not going to be interested in, so I'm not going to share it. And then when I went back and I said, bottom line, could Trump not have invaded? Maybe Trump has invaded and we don't even know it. Bombed. I'm going on and on. So the worst fear that the people that watch this planet from off planet have is nuclear explosions, and they really don't care who it is that's exploding them, that would send this planet spinning. And I believe they also said those explosions in particular places, there's parts of the planet that are either weaker or more vulnerable or more apt to send us spinning out of the, what do you call it? What the position we're in having to do with the movement of the planet, of planet Earth. Whoa, I'm exhausted. Not easy to kind of have to beat around the bush to give you this stuff. So now, if this just completely went over your head, it's okay. That means that you're addicted to the physical dimension, and that's what you know, that's what you're comfortable with, and that's where you want the battle to be. But guess what, guys? That's not where it's at the photograph that's on screen, off-planet stuff. And we're also getting in, oh, that's why the invasion. So that's why could Trump not have invaded? Okay, we'll get an explanation for that. Got it? Widen your lens. Anyway, information is power, and the Buddha said that the basis for human anguish is ignorance. This is not a time to be ignorant. Okay, interesting stuff. And I didn't say it when it happened. I went to the dentist, I don't know if it was 2.5 weeks ago. And they had to inject stuff to make my mouth numb. And I went, wow, I hope I get one of those experiences like I had years ago when they got injected. And it felt like my whole central channel opened. I connected to God. It was such an incredible feeling. And it was several minutes. It was really good. So I thought, I hope I have that again. And I had 2 experiences. One of it that I remembered when I was in utero, not born, and I witnessed an act of abuse so awful that it basically turned me against men. And that was that congestion of mind streams when you go through a trauma before I was born. It's in my jaw. And the injections kind of released it. And I was also doing the whatever. And then my masters come and talk to me. We're not going to go into that. But I was like, oh my God, loosening up everything here. Plus, I've been doing mantras of that. It was really neat. But then the second thing that happened I don't think I've recuperated from that yet. I have somebody that that is interested in hiring me at such a high level that when I said, I can't go see you because I'm not getting on any airplane. I don't like those long hallways that you have to go down to get to the gate. All those little doors on the side that nobody sees but me. I am not. And this person said, I'll send a plane for you. I can't go to pick you up. I'm not going to be on a plane, but we'll send a plane. Okay. Okay. It's not the first time. They did that a lot when I was young and they were taking me places. I would be the only person on the. And then, because of this all loosening up, and because I guess my masters wanted me to know, I could see the person that wants to hire me. But I could see the person so nice, potential client, and I could see what the person was doing behind the scenes. That person thinks that I know that they do black magic and I'm dangerous to them. And they're at such a high level that they have airplanes. Not Elon Musk, not Trump. So I'm looking at this. The plan of this person was to pay me a deposit or all the amount, because usually they have to pay everything up front, send the plane, have a bomb on the plane, it explodes. Oh my God, look what happened to Francis. And they already paid. Obviously, it wasn't them. Well, they weren't on the plane. They can't be on the plane. They're too important. They have to do stuff. They went. They was picking me up, and then they wouldn't have to worry about me anymore. Because you know what, guys? I'm not disappearing. I was in shock because what I was looking at was what the Mayans talked about. A person that I don't think would have done this before. And all of a sudden, we're into end times. The Mayans said people's dark side is going to come up. And that is what's going to be the biggest issue on the planet. You would never think that of this person. Or maybe you would, I don't know. Blankety blank believable. My ability to see is a danger for a lot of people, but those people are not good for you. But it's a problem because they can look really nice. This has cost me many relationships. And the Mayans saying that people's dark side are going to take over now, that's a big problem. It's a really big problem. It's a big problem for everybody. But you're not going to know. I know, and it makes it harder. I was in shock. So I would have died in a plane crash. Now, I don't know what that person's going to do now because that person does keep after me having to do with my chats. We only have 6 people that watch this. But lots of people. Shadow banning, is that what it is? I have no idea. I have no idea. And then I found out something very interesting, and then I am finished because I'm tired. That negotiating today was not fun. I don't like that. I think people should just be doing what they're good at. And I don't think that they should be doing stuff that they're not good at. And I'm not good at negotiating. So there shouldn't be any negotiating anyway, but there really is no negotiating having to do with money. There is negotiating having to do with what it is that I consider is okay and that I'm willing to do. Boundaries. Boundaries, that's what. What was I going to do now? Okay, the last thing. I want to know if you are asking people about ringing in the ears, pain in the ears, jaw, teeth, and then when a lot of them say yes, and it would have started like 3 weeks ago. Are you telling them to do the olive oil in the ears, coconut oil in the belly button, and the Om mantra all day long? It's going to help. This that's happening, I sketched it for many people. There was radiation coming into the head. It wasn't like it will be spirits, because that radiation will crack open the Higgs field here, and then these spirits can slip in very easily. But you know how in the tortures, they use sound? That's what they're doing now, but it's frequency. And some of the people can hear it and others can't. You need to share this. If you have any experience with this, if this feels like, yeah, then what I tell people is, why don't you just tell them that there's this lady, maybe she's a little bit crazy, but it was interesting, and I've heard people complaining about the ear and ringing, and then give them the information, help them out. And my most liked post has to do with suicide. Okay? Wanting to die. So, what do you do with that? Oh my God, no. No. You go, even though I want to die, I love and accept myself. You do it several times. That's an issue that clears like this, because I don't think it's internally. The depression the person has is internally generated, issues, whatever. But for some reason, it's like the mission mantra. You clear like this: the depression mantra forever, the anger mantra forever. But the suicide one, you don't have to do that often. And you can do it surrogate. So if you have a child that you're not liking the looks of things, they're never going to do a mantra. All you have to do is say, God, this is for my kid, or this is for my husband, or this is for my mate, or whatever. Even though I want to die, I love and accept myself. Even though I want to die, I love and accept myself. And you just keep doing it. Repeat it silently. You don't move your mouth. Okay? It's your homework. It's very little I'm asking. Very, very little. And authorities are not going to be able to help with all of these things, because they have a space of time, and then they need for their authorities to give them permission. You can't talk about suicide. How can you even not talk about suicide? Why can't you talk about suicide? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so what you're seeing on screen is what the dolphins said to me, okay, when I asked, could Trump have avoided making a decision and doing what he did? Except I didn't use that word. And the dolphin said no. He had to hold back the nuclear, knowing that Earth is so weak that any nuclear explosion would send the planet spinning. And then my sarcastic response is, why didn't you say that first? Because I was arguing with the dolphins before. Okay, so I am going to basically finish. I'm not even going to do... Let me see if somebody has something here in the chat that I need to respond to. By the way, the Om mantra is so soothing. Let's do the Om mantra. And let's go ahead and let's do the, even though I want to die, I love and accept myself. And let us do it. Tell God that it's for the person that you think, either for yourself or the person that you think is looking like on the edges. They don't really want to live. They're okay. You decide who you're going to do it for. So it's a purification mantra. It is not an affirmation. Wow, am I tired? I think I'm still in shock about that person with the whole plan. Okay. Okay. Here we go. We'll do 7 minutes. Okay, guess what just happened? Trump just negotiated a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. And he took out the nuclear sites, which are what the dolphins say we had to be afraid of. I checked twice on X. Breaking: Trump negotiates a complete ceasefire, peace in the Mideast. The dolphins were right again. So now you can say, oh, that was interesting. I want you to be thinking about the photograph that's on screen. La loca no está tan loca. What does that mean? The crazy lady is not so crazy. And for the person that had a plan to hire me, pay me, and then kill me in a plane ride because they own planes, I'm not going to tell anybody about you. So back down. It's okay. Don't worry. You don't have to take me out. I'm not going to tell anybody. Okay? Peace on earth, goodwill to all men. Now I have to ask myself, why do I need that? I'm not going to die. Why? Because this is a planet of intention. You can't die unless you want. Not unless you want to die, unless you decide to die. You have to have that intention. It could be subconscious and you can die screaming, look what happened to me. But it was your intention. I don't have an intention of dying. Life is getting too interesting. Hello, Trump. I adore you.